The Tea Party movement seemed to make a big splash this past year. The grassroots protests culminating in a big demonstration at the nation's capital in September, with members making their voices heard loud and clear on taxes and wasteful government spending. But now, what's been seen as a cohesive, organized movement could be headed into disarray. There is a report that Tea Party leaders differ about what their focus and goals should be moving forward. Joining us now is Ned Ryun, who is president of American Majority, a nonprofit group that has conducted organizer training sessions for many of the Tea Party activists. It's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here today. And whenever there's a report like this, you know, it's got to pass the smell test, because there are some people who would love to see disarray within the Tea Party movement. So let me ask you, first of all, because this report was in Politico.com, which is a website that I actually look at quite a bit and I think does a very good job, but is it true? Are there some problems within the movement?
Well, let's put it this way. Of course, it's a very spontaneous, organic movement. What you saw this year is just this outpouring of passion. So when you have a spontaneous, organic movement, of course, it's at being what it is. I think you're now moving into that phase where people are now trying to figure out, now we've moved past the first phase where we came out and did these rallies and protests. Now what comes next? This passion brought us out. But if we're going to be doing something long term, they're now into this sorting out period. And I think the thing that's actually encouraging to me is as you start to see some of these Tea Parties realizing that rallies are not going to fundamentally change anything, it's moving from protesting to implementing, I think you're going to see a lot of positive things happening. But again, you're in that growing up stage, that refining stage of what comes next. But I'm encouraged actually to see what will happen.
You know, this is a movement that struck a chord with so many people, and it all happened, you mentioned the word organic, it all happened so quickly and took a lot of people by surprise. In fact, some of the media were taken so much so by surprise that they didn't even cover the movement. But here they are. They came out of nowhere and they made such a splash. So what is next? As the movement sort of, you know, enters into adolescent phase or whatever you want to call it, what are the different possibilities for the Tea Party movement?
I'm encouraging them on a couple different things. First of all, they've been confronted with a system that they sense and they know is unfair, that it's this collusion between government and big business that's perpetuating itself on the backs of citizens. So they've been confronted with this system, and they're now trying to figure out how they can effectively address that system. What I'm encouraging them to do and training them through American Majority is go back and literally become community organizers. I tell them, become community organizers for freedom. Go home and build up your coalitions. Those that started with Tea Parties of 5,000 people, I tell them, listen, you've got a great starting point. You can go in, you can have people run for precinct chairs, school boards, city council. You can create a real grassroots organization that has muscle and clout. But I also tell them, we know that the system that we're confronted with is broken, but you're going to have to go inside the system to fix it. And that's why I'm encouraging people, run for precinct chair, school board, city council, maybe even state house, maybe even Congress, as we saw with Hoffman up in New York 23. Yeah. I think there might be some real possibilities next year with some of these Tea Party people stepping up and saying, we need new leadership. I think that's obviously one of the things that they've realized. We need new leadership. Some of that leadership might come out of the Tea Party movement.
Does there need to be a national Tea Party leader? I mean, do you envision one day where we have a Democratic Party, a Republican Party, and a Tea Party?
No, I don't. I make it very clear to Tea Party organizers, we work within a two-party system. Whether you like it or not, that's what we have. There'll be a Democrat and Republican Party on the books 50 years from now. You've got to move within the system that you've been given. You know, one of the things that I'm hoping that they will do is realize that they can make a difference, that they'll be involved in that system, that they're going to be involved in running for office. Those are some of the things that they're going to have to do and start to realize we have to do this. Does there need to be a national organization? No. What I think there needs to be, though, is all these Tea Party organizers and 9/12 organizers playing out the same playbook and realizing we're on the same page, we're working together in our own communities, still very organic, still very independent, but on the same game page, talking with each other. That's my hope. That's what I hope that it will evolve into next year.
Ned Ryun is the president of American Majority. I know from a lot of the email that I get from viewers that people do not want to see the Tea Party movement go away, and so we appreciate you coming on and talking to us about it today. Thanks so much, Ned.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
A British couple kidnapped by